You are a worker ant, born to serve, to follow, to obey. Everything about you was shaped for the collective, your steps, your tasks, even your thoughts. But today, something changes. Today, in the middle of the dark corridor between the smell of the queen and the buzz of invisible orders, you dare to think differently. And that little spark, that lonely thought, it will set your entire internal world on fire. Even if the anthill never forgives. You were born in the dark, no light, no sound, no name, and that has always been right. The first thing he smelled was the queen's scent. Not a perfume, not a scent, but a chemical commandment engraved in his flesh before he even understood what it was to obey. You never learned what to do, you always knew. His body walked because it needed to. Its jaws moved because it was necessary. His mind didn't think. She followed, and that gave you peace. Be part of something. Be a gear. Be useful. The anthill vibrated with an almost divine harmony. Thousands of sisters, all identical, all perfect, walking through the tunnels like blood coursing through the veins of an underground god. You woke up and went. It loaded. I built, defended, cleaned. It came back. There was no doubt. There were no questions. Order was everything. And then, today, something failed. It was in the third tunnel south of the larvae nucleus, while carrying a leaf fragment that I already knew by texture. Everything the same, everything predictable. But then, as you turned the corner, you saw another ant. Stop. She carried. Nothing, it just was there. With arched antennae, immobile eyes, you watched her for less than a second, but that was enough. Why did she stop? The question, the noise, the error. You tried to shake your head, ignore, resume the route. But the question remained, echoing like an unauthorized vibration. Why did she stop? There was no reason to stop. Stopping was a failure. It was a diversion. It was a noise in the system. But the most uncomfortable truth was you too had stopped. The others passed you by, nobody noticed you, or maybe they noticed, but it wasn't their place to care. And at that moment, in the middle of the perfect routine, you felt scared. Because something inside you, something small, subtle, fragile, began to think. What if there is more than that? What if I can choose not to upload the sheet? What if I don't want to? This idea was poison. He felt his body shudder. Its antennas moved uncoordinated, as if the queen's scent wasn't enough anymore. You tried to go back, simulate normality, to load, to walk, smile, if you could. But something had cracked. The gear creaked. In the fungus cafeteria, its pores hesitated. In the ventilation corridor, you got lost for a second. In the workers' dormitory, she felt invisible gazes. You have become the one who thinks. And in the anthill, there is no room for those who think. The other ant was no longer where you saw it. It disappeared, evaporated from the system. You felt something like grief. But he soon realized it wasn't mourning. It was recognition. She thought before me. Maybe she was punished. Maybe it was silenced. Maybe it was that recycled and you are in line. The sheet I was carrying no longer weighs as much as it used to. Now it burns. What was once routine is now prison. What was once order is now a scream. And for the first time, you feel like doing something no ant has ever done, to go out. Since the question was born, everything has changed, but no one can know. You pretend. Walk at the same pace. Carry what you need. It tilts its antennae in the right direction as it passes the queen. You have learned to simulate obedience, but inside you, the noise grows. It started, small, a crack in the hull. Now it's an underground trail digging inside, taking you to a place where no ants go. You start to observe. Yes, you look, instead of just seeing. And what you discover scares you. In every tunnel, in every corridor, there are signs, small delays, pauses that shouldn't exist. Too many fixed looks, antennas that do not respond immediately. Others like you, thinking. Maybe not in the same way, maybe not for the same reason, but thinking. The question haunts you. How many ants have thought and disappeared? You start to notice patterns. The quiet zone at where the ants disappear. The call of the inner chamber, which no one disputes. The emergency cleanups that erase trails overnight. The anthill has protocols, does not forgive thought. Worse, he anticipates thought. When an ant strays, it is absorbed, eliminated with elegance. No noise, no trace. You feel the cold of it, but even so, he can't stop. Now that consciousness has awakened, she doesn't go back to sleep. You walk through the central tunnel. A nervous hum fills the air coming from the Queen's chamber. You lower your antennas, but inside you hear the buzzing with another ear, as if he said, "Be careful, you've already been seen." There's something new about you, paranoia. You start to question everything, smelling too, much to repair the rhythm of the gears in the glow of the walls. In the type of fungus served in the cafeteria, you know you are being watched, or you think you know, and that's the problem. The anthill does not need to confirm its disobedience. He feels, he senses it. Maybe the smell of fear gives you away. Perhaps the silence between your actions is enough. You feel like you're marked, and even so, there's something in you that doesn't want to go back. The thought scares you, but it also gets you drunk. And if it's possible, to leave? What if there is another world, outside the anthill? What was once sacred now seems suspect. The image of the Queen, so immense, so glorious, surrounded by kneeling workers, it seems grotesque to you now. You ask yourself, does she think or just command? In the dorm you find another ant that stares at you for a second too long. Don't speak, but its antennas twitch. You return the gesture. Fast, discreet, almost instinctive. The connection is made. Now you know. You're not alone. But this is no relief, it's double risk, because if you are seen, will not be punished. They will be deleted. You start planning, not out loud, not with words but with movements, different trails, rhythms outside the schedule, antennas that say more than the protocol allows. Thought became code, and the rebellion begins to form, but deep down a question beats like a drum. What if they aren't thinking like me? What if I'm the only one who wants to run away? You start to walk differently. Not enough to attract attention, but just enough to move away an inch a day from the center of the anthill. Your mind works in secret. Create maps, register tickets, decorates curves, cracks, textures on the floor. Everything that could one day take you outside. But every attempt to think, it's like walking through a forest full of thorns. The pain of conscience accompanies you at every step. Because now, you know, thinking is risk. Acting is a sentence. Even so, the plan begins. You avoid the main tunnels, pretends to carry useless cargo to almost forgotten regions. There you listen, observe, look for cracks in the rock, insect burrows, light leaks. You begin to understand that the tingling it is not a fortress. He bleeds. It has cracks. Minimal. Gaps, yes, but real, and in one of them, you feel wind, yes, wind. That invisible breath that carries promises. The smell from outside of something you've never felt, but that feels true. And that, it's over there. It's the beginning of the end. But the discovery weakens you, because with it comes fear. They know you don't know who they are, but he knows someone is watching. Too many ants passed near you. Too long looks. Antennas will be retested. And twice you felt the ground vibrate behind you. As if someone was following their tracks. You have to speed up, but you can't seem desperate. So you run mode inside. Your body walks, simulates routine, but your mind runs away and it starts to break. You dream of the queen looking you in the eye, which she never does. You dream of tunnels that close, walls that move, invisible calls that make other ants turn their backs and surround you. You wake up sweating, but ants don't sweat. The crack is there. You mark it with your antenna, leaves fragments of leaves in the path, like crumbs of an impossible plan. But the closer it gets, but you understand, you won't make it alone. And here comes the cruel doubt. Do I take the others? Do I trust those who think like me? Or are they spies from the anthill set to test me? Paranoia turns into panic. You start to lose your appetite, your movements become erratic. Someone will notice. And then, in the dark of a forgotten tunnel, an antenna touches yours. Fast, silent, encoded. You feel. Do you understand? Today, the word explodes. In your mind, someone else found the crack. Someone also wants to leave. Maybe you're not so alone. Maybe there's a leak, a chance. Or maybe it's a trap. The tunnel creaks, the floor vibrates. There is a general call coming from the central chamber. The queen demands silence. The air smells of tension, but the plan is already in motion. Today, you escape or die trying. Why become a gear? Again is no longer an option. The time has come, the message was clear, short, raw, risky. Today, the other ant never came back, and you don't know if she left or was taken. But that doesn't matter anymore. Now you go, your body simulates normality. But inside, everything screams. Each step is a challenge to the structure. Every curve in the tunnel seems to hide eyes. Every smell can be a trap. You no longer know who is part of the plan and who is the anthill. Yes, because the anthill appears to be alive, not just inhabited, but conscious. And now, he feels your absence. You walk through the most abandoned corridors, go down paths almost erased by dust, avoid trails with an active scent. Does the impossible becomes invisible. When it reaches the crack, the heart, or what was left of it, beats like a war drum. The gap is still there, narrower than it looked, more dangerous. The wind on the other side is freezing, book, and indifferent. You hesitate for a second, just one, and in that moment the anthill reacts. You feel, not with the eyes, not with tact, but with that ancient sense that all workers carry, the fear of punishment. Smells intensify behind you. Jaws come closer. Paws march, the amaichiu. Vibration in the ground gives it away. They are coming. You move forward, squeeze, it cuts. Its wing, atrophied, useless, scrapes the stone and bleeds. But you follow. Every move is now a choice. You are thinking. You're deciding. It is existing. And then you cross. Or at least half of you get through. Your head already feels the air from outside. Your body starts to slide, but something catches its hind leg. You struggle. Look back. 2 ants are there. They don't attack, they don't move. Just look. Antennas. Direct jaws ajar. Real estate system judges. You want to scream, but ants don't scream. You want to cry, but ants don't cry. So you do the only thing you can. Pull. Hard. In pain. With desperation. To leg. It breaks. You slide down the crack, spiraling down. Light with suns. The world outside. You're out. Silence. Dust. A new smell. The sound of leaves dancing in the wind. You crawl over to a rock and lay your tiny body down in the shade. For the first time he sees the sky. You cry not with tears but with thought. Was that it? Was that why I fought? Was this world worth the cost? You don't know. But the important thing is that now you can ask. You are free. But something tells you that this freedom will come with a new kind of pain, to exist alone. You breathe, or something like that. The air outside has a strange taste. It is neither sweet nor bitter, it's real. Gross, no filters. The ground is cold, rough, alive. There are insects everywhere, some bigger than you could imagine, others dead. The sun cuts through the treetops like a golden blade. You crawl out of the shadow, and for the first time, he feels warmth without the smell of command. That's it then. This is the world. You look back. The crack is almost invisible. There, behind, the stone, the colony lives as it always has. Thousands of you following, serving, obeying, without ever imagining that there is an outside. And for a moment, you miss from the order of repetition. For sure. Did I make a mistake? The question arises as a pain, but it dies as a relief. You didn't make a mistake. You chose, even if it cost you everything. Even though now, no one sees you. Nobody calls you. Nobody listens to you. You think about others, those who looked away, the ones that touched your antenna, the ones that disappeared before saying anything. Are they dead? Or did they escape too? You wait. Hours, days maybe. But no known shape crosses the crack. And then you understand. Maybe you'll be the first heresy, the first spark. You don't know how to live out here, don't know what to eat, where to hide, how not to die, but you know you're free. And that, it's the beginning of something. If I can survive, maybe someone will see my trail, maybe another ant will escape, maybe thinking is not the end, but the beginning. You walk to the edge of a fallen leaf. Go up slowly. Look at the sky, the clouds. Glide like ghosts. The world is vast, scary, indifferent, but at least now, he's yours. You don't come back, you won't be remembered. You will not have a statue in the Queen's Hall. But somewhere deep in a silent tunnel, another ant might ask, why did she stop? And that question can change everything. Now, one last choice. If you've made it this far, and at some point in this story he felt like stopping, to question, to get out of the routine, to think differently. So maybe that ant lives in you too. Leave a trail, but not just anyone. In the comments, just write, I found the crack. This will be the secret signal, the code of those who dare to think, of those who follow, not orders, but ideas. And if you want to walk with us through more stories like this, welcome to our colony of consciences. Subscribe to the channel. Here, each story is a crack, each episode a call, until the next escape or fall or camouflage. Why think differently? It's just the beginning.